Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I just thought I'd give you guys like a basic life update. I think this will probably be my first video to go up once my little break from YouTube is over. But I thought I'd just come on here and, just give like a basic life update. I know it's not something everybody's gonna wanna watch, and that's okay, but for anyone out there who's just curious what's been going on, I thought I would just come on here and talk to you guys. So when I made my last video saying that I needed to take a break from YouTube, I mentioned just feeling like mentally, not necessarily burnt out, but like I felt like my nerves were frayed. And there were a few things that happened. So part of that was just feeling like I was running a rat race with YouTube. Like there's just the constant pressure to edit and upload and film. And so I've taken a break from that. I've stepped back, and I can't tell you how good it has felt not to feel super pressured to, film, edit, and upload. Which, I needed to get back to my roots. I need to take a step back and remember, like I'm doing this for fun. This is my hobby. Yes, I make a little bit of money on it. I don't make a lot, like $100 a month. And I shouldn't put so much pressure on myself to perform. Like, this is for fun. It is my hobby. It is something for me to do in my spare time. Yes, I like to have a schedule for it and I like to keep up with it, but I shouldn't stress myself out over YouTube. So it's been nice just taking a break, taking a step back. I've gotten quite a bit of sun. My freckles are out. I wish they were out year round. They're not. They just really come out in the summer months. It's technically skin damage, but I think they're cute. I'm here for it. And so yeah, like that's just what's been going on. I'm feeling a lot better, like mentally more clear. I'm ready to get back to filming. I've started filming here and there. I've got I think 3 videos under my belt already. This should make video number 4, but this will be, I think, the first one that you guys are going to see when I officially come back to YouTube. So I'm like finishing up my first week off of YouTube, if you will. And I feel like I'm ready to get back to YouTube. I'm excited. But there's been something that happened that I have a full story time that's going to go up probably tomorrow for you guys. I'm going to tell you guys all about it in that video, but I'll tell you what happened in this one. But something happened. My neighbor's house caught fire, and that was pretty much what led up to me officially taking a break from YouTube for a couple of weeks, because that night was extremely stressful. Obviously, it's stressful for everybody. Thankfully, nobody was hurt. My neighbors were able to get out, but like our houses are so close together. Like, I don't know how my house didn't catch fire other than the grace of God, other than having a shield of protection around my house and the grace of God. Like, that's my only explanation to it. There's no other reason why my house didn't catch fire. That fire was huge, and it was really hot, and it was throwing sparks, and the front porch collapsed, and I thought for sure when the front porch collapsed that my house would catch fire because it just shot sparks out everywhere. And even before the porch collapsed, I seen sparks landing on my roof, and I just kept sitting there like praying that they would not catch fire, and thankfully they didn't. But the realistic part of me was like, any minute one of these is going to catch fire. Any minute one of these is going to catch my roof on fire. There's no way that that's not going to happen, because there was so many sparks getting thrown on my roof. And it's just been the grace of God that our house was virtually untouched. We don't have any roof damage. We don't, and it's insane. We should have roof damage. Our house should have caught fire. Like, it was scary. It was terrifying. It was nerve-wracking. After the fact, my son Levi, he had some, I don't know if you necessarily want to call it behavioral issues that we had to work through, but kind of. The smell of the place was giving me a massive migraine. I can only assume it was doing the same for my son, and I think that was adding into a lot of his behavioral problems. He was having a lot of temper tantrums, which isn't normal for him. He was being extremely needy, and like didn't want me to be away from him, which isn't his normal either. And his sleep schedule was completely messed up because we were up from like 1 in the morning when the fire happened until like 5 o'clock in the morning. And then after that, I know that I was having a hard time sleeping. Like, and I think this kind of added into my nerves being shot. But anytime I'd lay down in bed at night to go to sleep, like, all I could think about was fire and flames, and how when the fire started, like, our entire bedroom, like, lit up bright red, and that's all I could think about. And so I would lay there for hours and not be able to sleep. And so that was adding to my nerves, just feeling shot on top of already feeling stressed out from YouTube. And so that's why I decided to take a break. I can't talk sometimes. Sometimes I stutter. But that's why I decided to take a break. I just needed it. I needed it for my nerves. I needed to just, like, chill out. I needed to focus on my son and get him back into, like, his schedule and his routine, and him feeling safe and secure in our home. And then not only a week, like, after the fire happened, and right now, as of this past Tuesday, I think the fire happened 3 weeks ago, if I remember correctly. It's been 3 weeks. It'll be 4 weeks this coming Tuesday. Today's June 1st. So a week after the fire happened, we started getting my son back into, like, his normal routine. He was starting to do better. The smell of the place had really finally started to air out. You weren't smelling it like you were. He got really sick. He threw up a few times, and then he had diarrhea really bad. It was never so bad that he needed to go to the doctor. He never ran any fevers with it. He was eating, he was drinking, he was playing, but he was constantly having diarrhea. And I was constantly doing laundry. I was sick of diarrhea diapers. Oh my God, it was constant. At least it felt constant. And I had to wash his bedding, like, multiple times, and it was just a nightmare. And it lasted about 5 days. And during that time frame, he got really used to me just sitting with him all the time and holding him all the time. He just really wanted to snuggle all the time, which I was loving. But that's not his normal. His normal is, like, he wants to get up and run and play and be rambunctious all over the house. And after he got feeling better, I guess he just got used. I don't know if I'm gonna call it coddling, but I've definitely never really been much for coddling when it comes to him. I'm always down to loving on him and giving him hugs, but I'm also very encouraging for him to, you know, be independent and be okay with being by himself. Like, if I have to go do the dishes or cook, or if I have to go down to the basement to do laundry, like, I need him to be okay being by himself and playing with his toys, and he always has been. And after he got better from his illness, he, I guess, got really used to me just being with him constantly. And, like, he did not want me to leave his side. If I went into the kitchen to cook or do dishes, he would stand outside the baby gate and just scream and cry at me. And if we went to the store, if I tried to put him in the shopping cart, like, he would scream and cry and just wanted me to hold him through the entire store, which stupidly I complied and did that a couple of times because, like, he's still little and I love snuggling him, and mostly, like, that's not his norm. He's not wanting to sit on my lap and snuggle. That's not his normal. So, like, as a mom, I've just kind of been eating that up, and it kind of became a habit to where it's like I had to, you know, I've been having to break him from that, because on one hand, like, I love the snuggling and I want that, but on the other hand, like, sometimes mommy has to do things without you, you know? Like, I can't hold you on my hip and do dishes. I can't hold you on my hip and cook. Like, you need to be a big boy and you need to be able to play with your toys. Like, mommy's right here. You can see me. We can see each other, but I don't need you sitting here screaming at me while I'm cooking dinner or doing laundry, whatever I might be doing. Like, you know, sometimes mommy has to do things without you. And so we had to break him from that. And I had to get him back into being okay going into a shopping cart. And so that's just, you know, that's normal parenting stuff. I think all parents go through those kind of things to an extent. And that was just our turn. And I'm sure it'll happen again. Like, he's getting back to his normal where he's like, hey, see you later, Mom. I'm going to go play with my toys in my room. And, like, I don't need to sit on your lap all day. Like, I'm cool without doing that. He's getting back to that. And, you know, I'm sure eventually someday, within the next 6 months to a year, he'll probably get another cold. And then he'll want to snuggle all the time. And then, you know, it'll be back to having to, I don't want to say cut the apron strings, but, like, you know, a little bit of space here. I think it's just normal parts of being a parent. But that's what was going on with the family aspect of everything, I guess. As for the house having burned down, I did mention in my last update video that my husband and I had a big purchase that we might be making, and that is buying the burnt down house. I didn't mention in the video, but we're buying this place and demolishing it. That way we can expand our backyard. Our yard currently is quite small, and this is going to give us a really nice sized backyard. This has been scary and exciting all at the same time. My husband and I have never had to buy a house before. We were very, very blessed in the fact that we inherited my grandmother's house. And so we've never had to go through the process of buying a house and finding out, you know, how all this stuff works. There's been like a lot of leg room, or I don't know what you want to call it. There's been a lot on our end we had to do as far as like once we buy it, we have to have it torn down. We had to call the city and find out, you know, how long do we have to let it sit before we have to have it torn down. Finding out if we could get approved for a loan, which we were able to get approved for, which is really good. And we're only taking out a personal loan. When I say we're taking out like a big purchase, like in the whole scheme of things, like I think we took out a $9,000 loan, okay? And the whole scheme of things, like $9,000 isn't that much. We're paying $2,000 to buy the property. The land itself is worth like $8,750, which I found kind of odd because our land, our yard without our house is worth $8,800, and like they're the same size yard. So I don't know why that one is $50 less than ours, but like whatever. So yeah, I had to like call, because technically what we're doing, I guess, is we're buying it as is. We're buying the property as is. And I guess when you look at it that way, we're more or less buying the land because the land has value. The house is, you know, could you rebuild it? Probably. The current owners of it, we don't buy it until Wednesday. So the current owners of it said that when they were talking with their homeowners insurance and when they were talking with contractors about rebuilding, that they were looking at about $12,000 to rebuild. I'm assuming that means just getting it structurally sound. I'm guessing that does not mean painting it and putting flooring in it and A, B, C, and D. Maybe not even doing the drywall. Maybe maybe the original owners were going to do the drywall part themselves. I don't know. Like, I have a hard time believing that because they would need an entirely new roof. Like, I have a hard time believing that you're going to be able to completely rebuild an upstairs, a living room, a mudroom, and the master bedroom for $12,000. Like, the house isn't that big. Like, it's not like a super big house, but like, it's $10,000 to put a roof on. I think it is. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's less. I don't know. Maybe I misunderstood her. Maybe it was going to cost them $12,000 to completely demolish it. I don't really know. I was under the impression she was saying that it was going to be $12,000 to rebuild it. I don't know. Either here nor there. We don't want to rebuild it. I think we have a storm rolling in, so you guys might be able to hear thunder. But we don't want to rebuild it. We've had several family members suggest that we rebuild it. That way we could rent it out. But we don't want to do that. We just want to have a bigger yard. We want to be away from the neighbors. So it's worth it to us just to buy it, demo it, and have a big yard. So on our side of things that we've had to do is, you know, call the city and find out what's it going to cost, not what's it going to cost, but like how long can it stand as is before we have any problems with the city, you know, with the city putting liens on the property or finding us or anything like that. And they said 30 days. So I don't know if that means 30 days from when we buy it or 30 days from when the fire happened. I'm assuming from when the fire happened. Then we had to go find out if we could take out a loan to buy the property. We had to contact contractors to find out how much it's going to cost to demolish it. We have one offer on the table for like $8,400. That's going to completely demolish the property and then haul away all of the rubble and then bring in fill dirt to level the foundation or whatever the term is. The foundation will be gone, but there's going to be like a hole in the ground, you know. So they're going to bring in dirt to fill that all in and bring everything up to code. And then we will grass it ourselves. I guess the city gives you 2 seasons or 2 years, something like that, to get your property grassed. Honestly, I don't think the city's going to care that much because that's something else my husband and I had to talk about, was do we want to go ahead and try to demo it right away, or do we want to let it sit and take the risk that the city would come back to us and like try to fine us for having a burned down property. And the reason we were kind of debating on waiting on it is because if we waited towards tax time, like we normally get like about $4,000 back, we could, you know, put that on demoing the house, and that would be like half the cost of the demo. And in that time, like we could try to pay off the $2,000 personal loan we would take out to buy the property. And I think we've decided against that. I just feel like we're taking a bit of a risk in doing that, and the city coming back and saying, hey, we gave you 30 days. We're thinking we could probably get away with it, because if you look around town, there's a lot of houses that have had fires that have been standing for a couple of years. They have roofs caving in that have been standing for a couple of years. There's a house on my street that has like a hole in the front of it that's been standing like that for at least the last 3 years. There's another one that has holes in the foundation going to the basement that's been like that for like the last 3 years. There's a lot of properties around town that have damage to it that like nobody seems to care about. So we were kind of thinking if we cleaned up the front where the porch awning collapsed, and if there's this I don't know the technical term of it, but it kind of looks like plastic wrap for your house. It goes underneath of your siding. We were thinking if we covered the burn up front of the house with that like siding stuff or that plastic wrap paper, that it would make the house look better. It would look like we were working on it, and the city would probably just turn a blind eye, because honestly I think they have bigger fish they could be frying that have like way worse houses. This one, most of the damage is internal. There's external damage as far as the porch awning collapsing, but again, like we could clean all of that up. We could clean up the yard. The roof is not caving in. I don't think it's in good enough condition to be climbing on it, but it's not caving in. It doesn't have any big holes in it. When the fire department was working on putting the fire out, they did have to go inside the house, and then they had to like tear down the flooring from the I guess technically it would be the ceiling for the downstairs and the flooring for the upstairs. They had to like poke holes and tear parts down, that way water wouldn't just be sitting up there. So the inside is pretty much kaput, but from the outside it's really just the front of the house that's the problem. The whole back half of the house, the kitchen, the bathroom, one of the bedrooms, the laundry room, the back porch, like all of that survived and made it. It's the front half that got burnt up. And like I said, if we had taken the that like saran wrap stuff, I think we could have made the front of the house look okay and just held off till tax time to demo it. And that was kind of my thoughts on it. But then we run the risk of, you know, the city coming back on us, or squatters. What if people had broken and decided to try to live there? The other issue is that one company offered to do it for $8,400. We have another company that is like 45 minutes away from us. It's in Anderson, Indiana. If you guys remember Amber Portwood from Teen Mom, she lives over in Anderson. So this company is from Anderson, and they're saying they'll do it for $5,000. But we feel a little sketchy about them because they're 45 minutes away and they're willing to do it for $5,000. Versus a company that's like here in our town that wants $8,500. That just seems a little off to me, personally. I mean, I don't know a whole lot about construction, but that just seems, I don't know. So, granted, we didn't talk to those people. I got hold of them on Facebook, and they said they came out and looked at it, and they shot me a quote. The other people I actually talked to, they came out to look at the property, and I talked to them face to face. And then we have another construction company that we talked to last night. They're like a real small mom and pop kind of construction company. My husband and I really like the owners. We were talking to them, and we really want to go with these guys, but we're waiting for them to get back with us with a quote. They were supposed to give it to us today, so they said they're willing to match a better quote. So we're hoping, if we're like, hey, you know, this place out in Anderson is willing to do it for $5,000, which is what they offered, you know, would you guys do it for $5,000 as well? Assuming that they want more than $5,000. We might get lucky and they might want less than $5,000. I don't know. I was supposed to hear back from them today. Gonna check my phone real quick and see if they sent us anything, but no, they haven't gotten back with us. So hopefully by this evening we'll have our third offer in from a construction company on demolition. But, you know, that's been a whole new thing for us. Like, we've never had to hire a demolition company before. And since my husband works, like, a lot of that fell on me, finding demolition companies to contact and, you know, getting quotes and, you know, finding about city ordinances and, you know, how does it work to get all of the utilities shut off in this place, because it's not as simple as just shutting off the utilities. We have to have the utility companies come out and cap everything off that it's safe for demolition. And there's, what else? I don't know. I feel like there's other things we've had to do. I've had to be in contact with the owners, and yeah, there's just, it's been a learning experience, to say the least. The whole thing has been a learning experience. We're still learning. There's still more to go. I mean, we don't even officially buy the property until this coming Wednesday, and so, like, I don't typically want to, like, count my eggs before they hatch, but I'm pretty sure that's how it's all going to work out. We're just waiting on the current owners to get their check from the homeowner's insurance, and then they'll be able to sell it. What else? Yeah, that's just a lot of what's been going on. And I thought I'd just, you know, give you guys a little bit of a life update. I'm going to go, like I said, more in depth with, the story of the fire and everything that happened, tomorrow. You guys will see that video tomorrow. As for what caused it, I don't think I told you in that video, because in that video I hadn't talked to the owners yet and I didn't know. But what happened was that, and this is what was said by the husband. They lived there as a husband and a wife, and they had 3 kids. So what happened, I don't know that I fully buy it, but what happened was that he left for work at 11 o'clock, and they had a tin on their, like a little tin bucket on their front porch for cigarette butts. What happened was he smoked a cigarette and he stuck it in the tin bucket, and the tin bucket caught fire, and then it caught the porch on fire. I don't know that I buy that fully, because I find it hard to believe that a tin bucket by itself would just catch fire. I would think there'd have to be something in the tin bucket that caught fire, like paper maybe. That I could understand catching fire in the bucket and then maybe catching the house on fire. What I personally think more likely happened was that he just flicked his cigarette butt in the direction of the porch, like it landed somewhere on the porch, because the porch itself has like a cement, it's like a cement patio kind of a porch. Like it's up higher, so it's not just like a cement slab, but you have to like step up or walk up a couple steps to get on it, but it's like it's cement, and then it has wooden posts, and it had the awning. Well, they were really bad about just flicking cigarettes all over. Like, they had them all over their yard. I was picking them up out of my yard. I talked to the neighbors on the other side. They said they had to pick the cigarette butts out of their yard. Like, these people just flicked their cigarette butts anywhere they wanted to. And I know for a fact on the porch, they had, like, you know, they had kids' coloring books. They had just regular books. They had a stroller with, you know, like a fabric lining on it. They had like all this other stuff sitting up there, and they also had, it was a very hot day, the day that the house caught fire. It was very hot, very dry, and it had a gas can sitting on the porch, and when gas cans aren't stored properly, which was pretty much sitting out in the sun, it's a covered porch, but it's still extremely hot outside, and you know, gas cans, if they're not stored correctly, can have vapors coming off, and I think that he flicked the cigarette butt on the porch and said, whatever, and went to work. And I think the cigarette butt either caught the vapors from the gas can on fire, or it landed on like one of the kids' toys, the coloring books, the regular books, somewhere near the stroller. I don't know. I don't think it made it into the tin can. I don't buy that. That doesn't make sense to me unless there is something flammable in the tin can, like maybe the kids put paper on it. Okay, then I could see the paper catching fire and then catching the porch on fire. But I think more likely he just flicked the cigarette butt on the porch and was like, whatever, and went to work, and then it caught something on fire, and then the fire took off by 1. So somewhere between 11 and 1, that cigarette butt had to be sitting there smoldering. I don't know. It's hard to put it together. I don't know what happened, you know? Like, that is kind of hard to figure that out. Like, how long do cigarette butts smolder for? I don't know. Like, I've seen people flick them in the street, and I've seen them smolder for a little while, but they go out. Like, I don't know. I also don't smoke, so I've never really dealt with a cigarette butt to know. But supposedly that's what happened, was that he put a cigarette butt in the tin bucket caught fire, it caught the porch on fire. That's the story that we're hearing. So, yeah. I don't know. That's all that I know about what happened there. Strangely enough, they didn't come back for like any of their stuff. Like, they got a few things. They came and got a few things out of the house, but they left. They had like a bunch of canned goods they left behind. Like, my husband and I got a tour of the house when we talked to the owners and said we wanted to buy it. They gave us a tour of the house just so we kind of knew like what we were getting into, because at one point we were talking about, can we demolish it ourselves? The other thing we were talking about was paying for a company to come out and just demolish it, and then us get the dumpsters and haul everything away. We've since decided that's probably not a good idea. Honestly, I don't think we have enough time to do that, and I think that we would end up, we'd be hauling away dumpsters for like the next year. Like, I don't see us getting it done if we go that route. So we're just gonna, you know, hire somebody to come out and do the whole thing for us. But these people, like, I guess they came back and got some of their clothes, but they left their washer and their dryer, they left their stove, they left their refrigerator, they left like the microwave, they left everything in the nursery, they left an air compressor, they left like a lot of stuff, like a lot of expensive stuff. And we're kind of like, why wouldn't they come back and get it? And we were talking to the original owners, and the original owner was like, yeah, I gave them 2 weeks to come and get it, and like they never came back for their stuff. And it's just kind of odd to me. Like, I don't know, maybe they had renter's insurance, and renter's insurance is just replacing everything. But like everything in the kitchen, like, so the stove and the refrigerator, everything in the laundry room, so washer and dryer, like big ticket items, they were fine. They weren't touched. They might need cleaned up from smoke, but like they should otherwise be functional. So it's kind of weird that they didn't come back for that stuff. But my husband and I intend to sell that stuff, recoup some of the money we're putting into these loans, and try to pay the loans off faster. So that's what's been going on. I may end up taking a longer break from YouTube. I don't know. I'm undecided, because I really want to do it's going to just be for like shits and giggles, but I want to do a home tour once we buy the house. It is safe to go inside of it. And I've seen people do home tours, what it looks like in TV cribs, and I just thought it would be really funny to do a home tour of this house once we buy it. But I don't really want to post that video until after the house is demolished, just for safety reasons. So I don't know. We'll see. If you guys are seeing this video, that means that we're ready to go and everything's ready to be posted. So that's what that means. But anyways, yeah, that's just kind of what's been going on. That's why I've taken, you know, such a long break. I needed to calm my nerves, and then, you know, I just also had a lot to deal with when it came to this house and trying to figure out how everything works and where to go and what offices do I need to call. That was the other thing I had to do, was I had to call and find out about if there's been any liens on the property. That's something you have to get done, and there's more to learn because we've yet to buy it. So we're taking the loan out today for it, and then Wednesday we buy it. So I think we have to go up to the courthouse I think we meet these people at the bank to buy it, and then we all go to the courthouse. I don't know. It's going to be a learning experience. We're going to have to go get it all put in our name. So it's a personal loan, so that means that we will have the title to the property. We will more or less own it free and clear. There won't be any collateral against it, so that's nice. I call it a big loan because $10,000 is a lot of money. I mean, we're taking out $9 grand, but like, that's a lot of money. And like, I know that like in the whole scheme of buying houses, like it's a little bit of nothing, but it's still a lot of money. So it's just like, it's scary for us because we've worked so hard the past year, longer than that really. It's just been the past year we've worked on my debts. The past couple of years before that we worked on my husband's debts. But we have worked so hard to get ourselves out of debt and to pay off all of our debts. And we only have, you know, I mean, if you include student loans always get you. I think we're like $60,000 in debt with our car and our student loans. But that was pretty much all we had. Like we had, like, I think we have like $2,000 left on our son's hospital bills from having him. So like $62,000 was what we were down to on our debts, and we were working really hard, you know, to pay off our car and, you know, making payments on our student loans. And now we're going to add another 10 on it, more or less, 9,000. And so it's kind of just like, you know, it's nerve-wracking. It's like, oh my God, another thing. But we plan on tax time to take our tax return check and put it on the loan, so I'll pay a big chunk of it off, and then we're going to sell off all these big ticket items that got left in the house. So hopefully we can get a couple grand out of all of that. And I don't know, we're just going to be throwing money at it and trying to pay it off as quickly as possible so we can get back to working on paying off our student loans and our car. That's everything that's been going on. Probably a little too much information there. But yeah, that's it. So that's pretty much my life update. Thanks for watching. And I'll see you guys in my next video.